Hello, divine, beautiful souls. This is Energy Speaks Podcast with your host, Catriel. We have a beautiful, amazing soul with us as our guest. Her name is Kai. Say hello.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I have been literally moving since 7 a.m. and it's a lot of energy, but I don't know. I love doing podcasts, so it's not even a thing, you know?
It's not work. It's not.
Nope. I just flow.
Yeah.
That's something that I admire about you as well is like, we know how to get into these spaces of divine channeling, and so we're just the vessel.
That's
it. So little background. I met Kai before she was Kai.
Yeah.
In soul school, okay? Like this was back in 2018, right?
Oh, I think so. Like either 2017 or 2018.
Oh, it was definitely 2018 then, because I wasn't there in 2017.
Okay, perfect.
I was like, I don't think it was 2019 at that point, but in 2018, she had just come back from Electric Forest and was like, came in so high vibrational, and we just kind of clicked, and I was like, oh, I remember it perfectly. Alasa asked me to go open the Solterra because there was someone, I was in Michael's, I remember.
Yes.
I was in Michael's, and she's like, can you open Solterra for someone who needs to come in there for a client or something like that?
Yep, that's it. That's how I met you. You were the random person who was sitting inside that opened the doors for me.
I'm the gatekeeper.
I've heard that about you.
Oh, God.
Just so you know.
That's funny. It's laughing hour on the podcast. But it's brilliant because it shakes things up and it allows, the humor to come in and just reminisce. Like, it was incredible because I met you then. The thing that stuck out to me is when I found out like that Electric Forest, that something I actually wanted to go to was in Michigan where all my family was. And then, you walked in and then something like clicked and I was like, what is going on right now? And then so I kind of like you were just there in the presence of social media for a while. I hadn't gotten to see you since that day, right? Except for last week.
You pretty much. You were in consideration of stepping outside and doing your art at a studio. And I know we talked about that, and we met up one time after Solterra.
Oh!
To do that.
It was the Starbucks.
Well, no, that was a whole different... We've run into each other a few times. We have.
Wow, my memory.
I know, and you're not even that old.
Well, I think it's because this is exactly my point though, is we get in such a high vibration that in order for us to remember those moments, we have to go back to that high vibration. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when you like lose your keys, you have to go back to like retrace your steps in order. Yeah.
Well, it goes back to the channeling because to truly be the vessel, we're in it. I tell people all the time, I will not remember what I said to you.
Exactly.
I have no memory of what I'm going to communicate to you because I'm in that moment with you. And I tell people, I'm like, please forgive me, but I really have no more filter. Like I'm officially at a place of like, I just say, and like, because it's a vibrational match to what's being communicated. And holy crap, I really do have to watch myself sometimes because the stuff that just comes out of me. Very blunt, and that's
well, as long as spirit is literally divinely channeling through you, I guess it doesn't quite matter what is being said, right? Because it's all in integrity.
There are sometimes I literally afterwards I go like, oh my God, that just came out of my mouth. But the person that I'm saying it to literally is, they drink it in and they process it and they do the work with me. It blows my mind.
So that being said, okay, you mentioned before we started the podcast, the House of Kai. This is your work platform, right? As I have
my personal,
your personal, as I have Energy Speaks. Please tell us more about the House of Kai.
So the House of Kai came about when the realization of the house is the physical being, the temple, the body, and that there is a code that runs through the body itself. I refer to it as the Christ-lighted code, and it is the sacred geometry of the tree of life. When the tree of life is activated properly, it's, all the light switches. And when you keep it ablaze, it literally clears your karmic energy within the cells of your body simultaneously. Right? So, interestingly, in order to achieve that, the building blocks of the body must be stacked properly. And so the House of Kai is just a representation of you being who you are. Right.
Wow, it's funny you should say those exact words. Right now, I told you that I'm planning a retreat.
I believe so.
So in October 22nd through the 24th. Yes. Honestly, I think this will probably premiere like after that date. I gotta look, but so it'll already have happened, guys. But
I hope you mentioned it on a different one.
But the theme of that retreat is the illumination of the Beit HaMikdash, which is the temple. And yes, the physical temple, which concerns our physical beings as well, because we are vessels. Our temple, our physical body, how we treat it, and everything that we put in this field, this resonant field of being, it affects everything. Everything. Even down to what I do affects you. 100%. And it affects the entire world, the holy sparks. Essentially.
And I know this to be true, and in that moment of you communicating, and I'm laughing because I'm like, oh, there's so many things I want to change about what I'm putting in my body.
I love that. But you know what? Awareness is bliss.
It is. I would much rather be aware of it and conscious and have choice and know what I'm doing. And then I also know that I do things of a level of like self-sabotage, to do things specifically, like put things in my body that I know are unhealthy for me, just so I can revisit that level of self-love.
Wow.
Right? Why would you
That's
not?
Deep.
Why would you not? Because it proves to you what level of self-love you have. It's like you have to remind yourself of where that pain body was. Why did I do that to me? Oh.
I think I did that every single time I went to Steak and Shake.
I think you did too. That was
I love our conversations.
This is so good. We only have how much time?
It doesn't work that way. We get into our channel and we'll know when it's complete complete.
Always. I like the way you think, baby. I like the way you think.
But I want to talk deeper about the House of Kai, okay? What do you do specifically? What does your work look like?
Oh my goodness. Well, as I say to people, it varies. You are the channel of energy. I'll start with this. The way it's been communicated to me is that in the original womb, right? So as the child is conceived and is created within the womb, we download a code of energy into the physical body, right? That infant, that little Zion starts taking in all the data. And in that data is the karmic code of what it wants to relive in this lifetime in order to complete its mission.
Whoa.
Right? The soul doesn't fully enter the body. As the soul enters the body through the lifetime, that soul then meets the karmic code. It can stay in loops. right? And in fact, what has happened in this dense reality, and I believe it has to do with the carbon molecule, in the dense reality, as the soul's coming into the body itself, it gets stuck in these loops, and the darker energies, forces, whatever people want to represent it, any sort of like negative vibration, literally keeps them there, because if they complete their mission, then that too is obsolete.
Right.
Right? So, as the soul comes in and starts to come into the body, the Christ-lighted code, that body code energy that comes through, can be purified. Right? So a lot of people will have illnesses, disease, things like that, all of which were part of their growth, all of which was part of what they needed to learn, and different people on their journey. And, and the other part of it is, what if you were a very specific part of my mission and you were not ready to meet me? That puts you to stay in a loop longer, right? Until that time frame comes. We've been playing this out for millennia. I don't even have time frame. I have no concept of time. So, right.
I can definitely attest to that, because there was a moment, and it turned 11:11 on there, which was funny. And then
there was a moment at
11:11. But with you, it's been so interesting. I can fully say, when I seen you on Facebook, there's several times I've tuned in on of when we would meet again,
Interesting.
And it's not.
I would probably say the same.
Yeah.
Knowing that our paths would cross again.
Yeah.
Knowing that was meant to be, but not knowing when. And I tell people, I'm a simmering kettle waiting to boil.
Right. And I will tell you, you transform a lot of energy.
Thank you.
Because, unless you're in the and this is true for anyone, but I can truly say I felt this experience with our energies, is I was not supposed to reach out until I knew that those whatever energies were clear, so we could see each other as pure lights. Because I can straight up tell you, there were some energies in there shadowing things.
Absolutely.
I felt it, I saw it, but I didn't attach to it, because the stories were not important. And I was just like, well, you know what? It will illuminate when it's meant to illuminate, and we'll see each other. Because I will tell you, the day you walked in to Solterra, that was a pure moment, It was so pure. And
yeah. I'm like, I can't see on the podcast, and I'm like welling, because it's true. It's totally true. I remember meeting you and just being like, oh my God, he's beautiful. Like the love light that came out of you. And I said to you the other day, and I knew you were in a place of transformation, because you had all this love, but you didn't know how to keep the container. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
I think that's the best way of explaining it, because it was everywhere. You had so much to give that it was like, oh my goodness. It was, as I said, I think it was like this, like little, like an infant to me, of like a newborn. You know what I mean? Like trying to figure it all out. And it was beautiful. And I knew from go I could trust you.
Meh.
Right? Like, and that's very rare for me, because most people, like part of my journey, and that goes back to what I do, is that part of what I was sent here to do, my mission specifically, was to look into the darkness, walk through it, and to identify what everything was. And that's very much my gift. I don't wish to see the darkness in people right away. I see their light, but the first thing I see is the code of crap that they're holding on to.
What a beautiful gift.
It's such a awesome. It's fantastic. It is.
I was being facetious at first, and then it turned into just like, really, it's a true gift.
It is.
It really is.
And I very much feel like part of like my tribe's energetic code is to teach what those things are, you know, where the fault lines are.
Yeah.
Right. If we teach the generation now on a simply vibrational level, then the next ones there will be no fault lines. It'll be clear, and they'll be pure, and they'll be strong, and they'll be able to see the love immediately without having to identify this other stuff. It's already going to be composted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I just had that experience today with an angelic, like literally like wildfire. Like she will just, it's going to be compost. It's not even going to be part of her journey because people like myself and others have come through before that.
Yeah.
You know, it's very humbling. It's very humbling because you're like, they're going to be beyond, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I totally am like, that's why I did it. My soul knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
Wow.
I want that pure seed for everyone.
Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of very similar to like, okay, have you ever, I don't know your story. So have you had someone pass away close to you in your life, like from your family lineage?
Many at an early age.
Okay. So for me, okay, so today is actually my granny's yahrzeit, anniversary of passing. 2019, she passed away. She was ready to go. She was 90.
Oh, what a good life.
4, I think.
That's amazing.
She was an amazing woman. Amazing woman. Didn't always get along with her, and I love her. She did not always approve of me, and you know.
How could I'm sorry, that just doesn't resonate for me. How could somebody not approve of you? I just don't get that. I'm sorry.
Listen.
You are so pure that my concern is like, okay, so like the reason we did what we did, all right, is to make sure that beings like you could walk through with like ease, okay? That's really what it is. To not approve of you is to be like, what the F is wrong with them for not being able to absorb that, like, okay, go ahead.
Well, it all really starts in the first podcast, of my story, and just a reminder for people, because I don't give a flip.
Yeah, I clearly have to watch my full gallery, so
I was born intersex, okay?
Right.
And so when what was put on my birth certificate was not male, it was female. And I know, right? A digester right there. And so the way my grandmother looked at me was that child that even when I was 3, I was saying, I'm Kevin. And so it wasn't revealed at that point, kind of. Mm-hmm. I will say that because I know some stuff from spirit that I feel she knew. But, you know, she was taught a certain way. You know?
Of course.
And that was their lineage. That was their time. That was how it was a boxy type of energy. Everything had to fit into a specific little box.
Absolutely.
And that goes ahead with what I was going to say in regards to when a loved one passes away, you know, any energy like that, any energy that is a little bit heavier, has some twirls and energetic baggage, it falls away. It really falls away. And I will tell you, I felt the same thing with my granny, and I love my granny. I love both of them. I had a very strong connection with my granny. But I will tell you, there was some energetic stuff that fell away that helped me move forward as a being.
Good.
And
as it should. As it should. And I believe that's what this is. And that's why you were born into the family you were. Absolutely. Absolutely. I say that all the time about my own. there is not one thing of my childhood that I could look back at
Yeah.
and honestly say was not set up for me.
Right?
And I came from a horrible childhood.
Now, just because there's something left unsaid on an energy with my grandma,
Yes, please.
that I don't want to necessarily leave it on that note, because something so beautiful happened. Now, most people would look at this like, dude, you might be a horrible person for even thinking this, but I don't care because I saw beauty in it. Mm-hmm. My grandma ended up having Alzheimer's.
Right.
Okay, and it provided it provided a beautiful gift, because I did not get to see my grandma for a while because I just never got to go up there. She was in Michigan, and so things were coming to a point where I knew I needed to go up there. It was when my cousin was getting married, and I just knew I needed to go see her before anything, you know? And I walked in, and they had to introduce me to my grandmother. And it was really amazing because she's like, oh, you're my grandson. And she's like, you're a really good looking boy. and then she's like, are you married yet? And I had just gotten a divorce, so I didn't tell her that.
No. Still married,
I worked it's funny because I used to work in memory care. So it was like perfect, like a perfect fit. I knew how to talk with her because her soul was talking. Her soul was talking, and we could finally see each other for the first time. And it was so freaking amazing and beautiful. It filled my heart with so much love because she saw me for me. And I saw her for her, and her innocence and my innocence, without all of the energetic baggage. So I got to have that moment prior from her passing, you know? And that was the biggest gift that I could have ever received.
I believe it.
Because we had gone at it prior to, and that was no longer a thing. It was so amazing. But
makes absolute sense to me.
Yeah. So thank you for letting me finish that. I just felt
I'm happy you did.
And that's something I see in you, is you're able to hold space for beautiful transformations.
Thank you. There's no level of pain I haven't been able to hold space for.
Wow.
And the stuff that I've heard.
Wow.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. I know my journey was a depth of pain, yet to hear other people's. Yeah.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah. Thank you for being that being, that it takes a very strong being to be able to create and hold the space. And anyone out there who is potentially struggling with something, know that, this space, this container right here is intentionally set to be able to hold these conversations, the real, the raw.
Oh, completely. They're my favorite.
Remember?
I literally am like, I don't want BS conversations. I can't handle them.
Right.
I'm like, okay, what's next? This is like, I require depthful conversations. And I know that's not for everybody.
Where's your Scorpio?
My Scorpio is, I think, my second house.
Second house?
Yeah. But I have Pluto in my first.
Oh, right. We spoke about this.
Yeah. They say having Pluto in your first is even more intense than having Scorpio as a sun, moon, or rising or something like that. And I'm like that. My first business was called Transform Holistic.
Now that's funny.
And you'd appreciate that. Like literally people would meet me and things would change. I had one woman come for one session. She ended up getting a divorce and quitting her job like within that week.
That's a lot of power to hold.
I literally was like, should you come back for a follow-up? Do you need some more time? Like, you okay? She's like, I'm wonderful. I was like, that's amazing. Okay, have a good day. I think that's so great.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I don't even know. I have no problem poking the bear, you know?
Those Aries.
People like, don't poke the bear. I'm like, I'm going to poke the bear and lean in. What's the bear going to do? Right? Like, let's see what happens, you know?
You know what I love about the energy of Aries sun is that your Earth is essentially in Libra. So when you look at the dynamic between Aries and Libra, it's so freaking beautiful because it's just like the child and the heart, you know, and it's like this like game.
So I would love to know more of that because I'm actually a rising Libra.
You're a rising Libra too.
I'm a rising Libra, so the chart is flipped.
Oh,
right?
Interesting.
Pluto is in Libra, first house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's your saving grace, though, because
No, it's everyone else's saving grace. Let's be honest. I'm just kidding.
That's probably true too. I'm gonna be real. I got a Sag rising.
Thank God for that Sag.
Seriously. Like, okay, you cannot go through a lifetime and have Scorpio as your sun, and then your moon as Cancer, and what else has gotta be in that?
It's highly emotional.
It really is.
It's like highly emotional. Like, seriously.
Imagine when I was out of balance, when I was like, yo, guys, this wasn't me, man. Like, this doesn't feel right. Like,
I do.
And I didn't have like the balance restored within me. And
did you find yourself being like gentle and fierce, I think, or like hot and cold, or was there a lot of that, or like spiky energy going on with that?
So, as a kid, okay, so I always had my happy-go-lucky self, but then I had my brooding self that I didn't like to let anybody see.
Well, that's what I would think, that it was undercover, like, because that's really deep. That's very, very deep. So did you have like high up and downs because you tried to contain it so much?
Okay, so I will tell you, I 100%, like, after knowing all of what I know, especially with being intersex and that being like revealed to me fully later on in life, when I was able to have my testosterone, that was the saving grace right there, because I felt balanced. Because prior to that, I didn't want to be here on this earth.
Makes absolute sense.
And because it was like...
why would you? Why would you? Like, looking at where the vibration of the earth was at the time of your conception, and how old are you, do you mind me asking? Around?
I'm 30.
Okay.
I'm like, where am I at?
Exactly. I was like, what day is today?
I'll be 31 on November 7th.
Awesome. Okay, great. Here we go. That time frame alone, we were still in a place of chaos. I mean, we are in a place of chaos, but I mean, the deep cage-like chaos, that was ripped off. You know, we've broken through those levels of walls and layers at this point in time. The chaos is trying to figure out where the boundary lines are now. And I don't even like to call them boundary lines. I refer to them as integrity lines.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Thank you. Love has integrity lines.
Yes.
Yes. It's not about boundaries. The second you put a boundary up, somebody wants to push through it and break it. Love is an integrity line. Stand within your integrity lines.
Yep. I'm going to use that from here on out.
Isn't that a great phrase? I love that.
I love it.
And I believe, and that's like, you'll see, but that is so I have that tattooed as the flower of life on my hands, right?
Yeah.
Now, why? Those are the integrity lines. And there's no straight line.
Of course, I just took off my glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I'm supposed to.
But you know that in the flower of life, the tree of life, they're all archways.
Say that again? Archways.
Archways.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so again, as I talk about the body code method, which is the House of Kai, the whole development of it,
Yeah.
is that Everything is archways. There
Portals.
Absolutely. Bridges.
Bridges. Yeah.
Bridges of communication throughout your whole entire structural body.
Mm.
Those bridges of communication can hold your karmic energy or be pure light channels.
Oof.
Right?
Yeah.
And so part of what I do is I can read that through people. So when I go and I see what their channels are saying,
Yeah.
I mean, literally it's effortless for me to look at someone and just turn and say, father issues, mother issues, this. And I could literally, I don't have to see them. You could randomly mention a human being to me. And I can literally just go, whew, so this happened and that happened, huh? Okay.
Wow.
Effort. Yeah. And it's just how it's been.
Yeah.
Yeah. People ask me how. I go, I don't know.
So can I ask you more? I mean, I'm sure it looks different for every client. But what is your method? Do you help people identify or release energies or body movement?
All of the above.
Oh, I had a feeling.
Above, right? All of the above. And my work has changed so much. In the beginning, it was a lot of hands-on.
Okay.
Now, in the private work, with the whole COVID thing, I ended up taking a job within a franchise and doing that work. I still get to do my work there, though.
That's cool.
Yeah, which is amazing. It's amazing. And I'm going to be able to teach others my method on top of what we're doing.
Interesting.
I know. I'm thrilled. I'm beyond thrilled. I was like, wow. I'm like, it's really going to be that much more. I'm so excited. But what I really how can I say this? When you come in and work with me, I usually have a nice, discussion of where things are. Mm-hmm. I don't need any of the stuff that I utilize. Let's go with that. I use these things to bring the attention and the awareness into the other person. Most human beings do not feel their physical body. There's a disconnect. Even when I'm like, do you feel this? What am I supposed to feel? They want an answer. They can't identify it themselves. They don't know the difference. So usually when I work with people, I may have them do one half of their body and go, feel it. What do you feel? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it longer? Is it shorter? What do you feel? They have to come back to that because that's where the change happens. Right? Most people, I had a woman, first time, 70 some odd years old, walked in like a penguin. Her feet, dramatic, really dramatic. It was heartbreaking to watch.
Wow.
In fact, if your feet are kind of almost underneath the shoulder area itself, right? Her feet were probably 30 degrees outside of her shoulder range, completely like a penguin stuck out to the side. Okay, and she shuffled when she walked. Her bones in her feet were completely mangled, right? She'd been doing private Pilates work for almost a year when I saw her, and that angered me even more to believe that she had paid all that money for private Pilates and nothing had changed.
Wow.
So I ended up working with the woman. In less than 3 months, I had her feet underneath her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I asked her, could she feel a difference? No. Her whole family loved me and adored me and thanked me for everything because they all saw the difference, but she herself could not feel it.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, they just go numb. They don't know. They don't feel. And especially the older generations, is a fear of being in your body, right? Living in the programmed world, especially in the mind. So as the soul enters the body, as I said before, it comes in, it deals, oh, that was awesome. I looked down on the board, it said 3333. That was awesome. Okay, good. I love that. So as the soul enters the body at 3333.
You see how these are fun?
I love these things. Like a child. Okay.
Told you. Excuse our laughing.
Or not.
Please
or not.
laugh.
You just laugh at us, laugh with us. I don't care.
Yes. It moves energy.
And that, oh, goodness me. I know. I have people that they joke with me all the time if I teach classes or in my private work. They go, some people go, that laugh's kind of sadistic. And I die laughing. And they were like, well, it's kind of like, and they'll try to describe it. And I die laughing with it because I'm like, when you've experienced the depths of pain, physical, emotional, and psychological that I have and met them all, and you want me to be sane?
You know what just popped in my head? Something like having to do with what's the Joker? Like, seriously, the Joker popped up in my head, but like, what's the one that's the female version that's in that story? I didn't see them.
Oh my goodness, I don't watch any of that stuff, but I think there's some really crazy one that I keep seeing images of now, and she has the blonde hair.
Harley Quinn, is
that
it?
that who I'm thinking of?
I
Yes,
think
Harley
so.
Quinn.
I love how you can see what okay, so
That's totally something. Yes,
guys, like, she came by. Okay, so we had an exchange with I make jewelry too.
Buy it. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love it.
and so she came by to pick up the jewelry, and we started talking, and like, I just shared I didn't realize I was doing it, but I did. Like, it was my higher self knew and was sending over this message, and then she said she saw it and like confirmed, and then I was just like, bro, like, we just totally like sent images to each other, and I was like, I haven't been able to do this like in a while. It's certain people.
Well, for me, that's my ultimate form of communication.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. I tell people I communicate better in grunt and growl and sound vibration. And I can translate that easier because words are an illusion to people.
Interesting you say that, because that's part of your empath skills as the Aries empath skill.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we'll have to go over that. And we have an episode catered to that specifically,
really?
like each empath skill based off their zodiac energy. I channeled.
I have to listen to that. I'm obsessed with astrology. I am. I am. And again, when I hear it, it's like that. You just download it and you allow that part of your brain to creatively plug it in and see where everything belongs.
Yeah, it's like so fun. Like, again, I can send you. I'll send you downloads. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And when I'm working with people like yourself, I will literally tell my higher self to download the data that is required in this moment. That was literally the first conversation I had with a human being this morning. They were visiting my neighbor. I hadn't seen them in months, and we hugged each other, and I had to run off to a lunch event. And she literally just looked at me and she goes, basically it was like, she was talking in code and basically turned and said, she's like, and may you download the data and information that I'm giving you. And I looked at her and I said, and the same. And the two of us just shared moments of breath and download. And everything is shared in breath.
Yeah.
Everything is shared in breath.
Totally. I'm sorry. I
saw that. What happened?
I felt someone touch my hand. I'm wondering if it's my grandmother, since it is her yard site. It felt like it.
Before you even said it, I thought it was.
That's amazing. Okay, confirmation. I'm sorry but that was amazing.
Yeah. So sweet.
Wow. Energy speaks. Wow.
So sweet. And now her understanding and perception of who you are and what your authentic role is here.
Whoa. Don't make me cry.
I make everyone cry.
Can I call you a bully?
I don't do it from that.
Kidding.
Yeah. I bully the bullies. That's how I roll. Seriously.
I love it.
I actually tell people, I'm like, I'll show a bully what a bully's like. I was like, give me a second. I'm a little protective.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Wow. Just taking it all in, taking a moment. Like, we just activated something huge here.
And I knew we would.
Yeah.
The time frame that we're in right now and what is unfolding.
Yeah.
Right? And
I don't know what, but I don't necessarily need to know.
Okay, understood then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I knew you were like tuning in. I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to know.
Well, you saying that is better for me.
Yeah.
because I do know.
Oh, perfect. I love it. See, this is my speak with the universe is part of my, dialogue is the faith and the trust.
Faith.
And I kind of like it that way.
I do too. I would tell people I walk in blind faith. I've walked into so many scenarios in life with a blind faith and literally show up and I'm like, oh, I just thought I was going to this event. And then all of a sudden I'll be in it and they'll show me what I'm like, I'm doing what? What, am I qualified? Like am I qualified? I go, I'm the qualified one to do that. Really? I had no idea. Do I know the data that I'm supposed to utilize right now? Like, I always...
Well, again, that takes a strong being to know things and to still carry out what you need to carry out.
Again, just the vessel.
Totally.
Yeah. The ego will, and I get that too. That too, and that's part of going into knowing that my role is my role. And it is for the younger generation to walk through differently.
Yeah.
That's humbling in itself. And knowing that, being okay with that. I'm a fussy child myself, you know what I mean? Like I'm battling that out. And I know whatever comes to the surface, I'll heal that too. Right? Like,
it's so interesting because what comes to mind is, are you familiar with Chiron?
Oh yeah.
The wounded healer. It's I have to check again if it shifted, but it's at least for a good amount of time was in Aries.
Which is where my Chiron is.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
I'm not surprised anymore.
I'm like, could your wounded healer be as the wounded warrior, like the wounded, like...
But that's super beautiful because I feel like, okay, so same concept applies with your solar return. What is the whole concept of a solar return? The soul, the sun goes back to that same space,
the same imprint.
The same, so like, okay, you were boing.
I mean, I might have been boing. I might have been. Where are we from now? What boing? That's a certain accent right there.
I know it's an accent. I was like, geez, I'm really going Jewish here.
I'm like, is that just some hardcore Jewish thing going on for me? Okay, just check boing.
But where were we going? Oh yeah, you were born. Born at a certain degree point. Okay, for every single planet. Okay, so for the sun, you were born in Aries at a certain degree point.
Yep.
In the Saturn, you had a certain degree point and a certain sign. When you go back to that specific point.
Yes. Cycle.
Yeah. You level up something. You also obtain a level of like untouchableness.
I like that.
It's like a where you are able to bestow blessings. Part of in Judaism, when you have your birthday, you're not supposed to necessarily receive a blessing. You have the blessing stored within you because the energies are literally in perfect alignment because of your birth. Okay?
I love that. As it should be, in my opinion.
And so at that point, on the days that you have simchas, for instance, your birthday, or when you get married, you're supposed to give a blessing to someone else.
Oh, I love that.
Because you hold a certain amount of energy that you're connecting with Hashem, the divine creator, spirit, and are able to take that energy that spirit is carrying down and channeling through you, and you're able to give it to that other person.
Makes sense.
So what I'm seeing is that during this time when everybody was going through their deep and darkest, times within the wounded healer with Aries in Chiron and Aries, right? You had the codes. You had the codes to provide the energy, a safe zone for people to heal, to be able to carry that blessing, that energy, and the codes and go through their energy bodies into the beyond. Whoa. I love when I get in channel mode. It's fun.
Me too. Keep going. This is good.
But
Makes absolute sense to me. I often describe it to people we are wind chimes.
Ooh.
And that every time you take a breath, that the vibration that comes out of your being is that which is being sent out forth. And if the vibration is within harmony, then you are sending harmony.
Oof.
And if it is none of that, then you're sending that too. Right? And the more capable of breathing, how much of your being can you breathe, right? Which goes into my method. I teach people how to activate. I can get you to breathe the palms of your hand, the arches of your feet. I can get you to breathe your eyeballs. I literally can get you to breathe every speck of your body.
Ooh.
Which is how you ignite the code, right?
That's activation.
Seriously, it's amazing. It's powerful stuff.
Wow.
And so when you learn how to activate and breathe all of those aspects of your being and then bring them into a state of harmony, then you yourself are emanating that level of resonance, that wind chime out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Let me ask, how much are your sessions?
I do usually 2-hour-long private sessions, and it's $150.
That's brilliant.
It's reasonable. Oh, I have my prices actually, didn't I? It's like $170, but I always offered a sliding scale. That's so funny. Thank you.
Hey, and we're going to provide that information so that you can, if you would like a session, to reach out to Kai, the House of Kai. Mm-hmm. And, wow. Thank you so much for being on. And do you want to add anything? Is there something else that wants to come forth?
Goodness. Being in love itself.
Oof. Okay.
That's the vibration I'm feeling at this moment.
So let's take a moment. This is what's being guided. And just channel that energy and send it out into the world and to every one of our viewers, listeners. Taking a deep breath in through the heart chakra. Just feeling the heart and the breath move in and out. And when I think of the heart and this beautiful, loving energy, it kind of reminds me of a magnetic type of energy, sending out this magnetic vibration out from our heart space out. And then again, as we send it out, we bring it back in. As we give, we receive that equal exchange of balance and harmony. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was really good.
That was so channeled. Wow.
So good.
Well, I thank you so much for coming on Energy Speaks podcast. I'm truly grateful.
Same. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for activating this space, whatever that was. Only Hashem and you know, apparently, and maybe some listeners.
There are listeners who are connected to the vibration.
Yeah. Well, I thank you all, divine, beautiful souls, and please have a beautiful week. Shalom.